Time for a new week of Total Bases. We'll be here for the next 50 minutes or so, breaking down the Monday MLB slate in detail, like we do 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. We're going to start with national TV. Bryan Leonard, I'm going to go to you first. Your Guardians getting the primetime spot on main ESPN tonight. They host the Rangers. Looks like the Guardians have their guy on the mound in Parker Messick. The Rangers, we don't really know who's pitching. Probably going to be a little bit of a bullpen game here, but they have one of the better bullpens in the league. So Guardians, Rangers to you. How are you seeing this one, and how was your weekend?
Yeah, weekend was great. I think we're on a 9-2 run, 17-6. Would have swept yesterday, but I had the Detroit game under, and of course they go into extra innings, and that's the killer of unders. But yeah, pretty good run. We continue to be on. I believe we're number 2 in the last 7 days. Yeah, can't complain about anything right now. So thanks for everybody who signed up. It's been a nice run for us. Alexander's supposed to get the start. He's a lefty. He's just a bullpen guy. We're looking at Messick, another lefty, by the way, at about a 140 favorite, 143 maybe. And it's a 7.5 out there for the total. Cleveland did get one of their main hitters back yesterday, coming back from the IL. But Texas is a team that is going to be using a bullpen game. From a bullpen standpoint, Latz hasn't pitched the last 2 days. He's been their closer. He's been great. Junis the last 2 days. But, Peyton Gray threw 39 pitches on Saturday. Don't know if he'll be available or not. Tyler Alexander has pitched the last 2 days. And like I said, he will start, so he'll only go 1 inning here. So that's a little bit strange to have a guy scheduled to be your starter that's already pitched the last 2 days, but we will see. Cole Winn pitched yesterday, 28 pitches. That was a pretty good amount, but everybody else should be available. Alstrom pitched to it the last 3 days. So I wouldn't say this is the best day for Texas to use a bullpen game, but that's what looks like they're going to do. Cal Quantrill may be the guy that's in the game for the longest amount of time if he pitches today. Rocker, another great performance yesterday. And in fact, both these teams are right now getting very good pitching from their starters. And from a hitting standpoint, Jack Peterson's been pretty hot. In fact, Texas got 5 guys right now in the last 7 days hitting in the top 100. But Cleveland, on the other hand, as I mentioned, they got another Schistolater came back from the IL. He DH'd. I guess they said he's going to be the DH for a while now, which is somewhat concerning because they brought up Cooper Engel. He did play left field yesterday, and I guess they're going to play him in the outfield. He was in the outfield a little bit in the minor leagues because they've already got 2 other catchers that are better than him. And I thought they were bringing him up to catch because he's a good hitting catcher, and the other guys can't hit at all. Bailey and their other catcher Hedges. So it's a strange thing. And Fry has been had caught in the past, but coming off his injury last year, they didn't want him to catch this year. So strange things going on in Cleveland. Not enamored with this offense at all. The only guy that's hitting really well is Cahill Watson. And to be totally honest with you, I didn't know that much about Watson before he came up. I thought they would be bringing up some other guys that they have down in the minors. So kind of concerned about the Cleveland offense here. So I don't want to lay the 140 number. If I'm going to play it based on the starter for Messick and who I think is going to go in for Texas, maybe the under, maybe the Texas team total under. A quick look at that would be, we're looking at 3.5 under 25. Yeah, it may be a little bit juicy for me. So I may end up, unless I get more information. And the good news is everything on today's card is on the evening card. So we don't have to make any decisions now. But hopefully we get better information. Maybe we could play something in this game later. But I don't see many runs being scored here.
Let's get Tokyo Brandon in here. TB, how was your weekend? And Colin Gregory says Guardians money line -141. Don't overthink it. Is that how you're seeing this? Because I'm over here overthinking it. So I need to know what you're looking at here.
Yeah, weekend was okay. I find myself either treading water or eking out units, but no traps, no landmines or anything. So just kind of slow and steady. not on a tear or anything like that, but not losing. So I'll deal with that. Yeah, I think the wrong team's favored here. Sorry to say, but yeah, Parker Messick is great. He's good. He gave up 3 runs to the Rangers his last time out. The Rangers, it's not like he's, a shutdown guy. He's given up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 earned in his last 3 starts. So he's definitely fallen off a little bit from his hot start. Rangers much better hitting than the Guardians. I have the Guardians second to last in MLB in current form as far as hitting is concerned. And I have their bullpen ranked 25 out of 30, where I got the Rangers ranked 14. So everything points to the Rangers for me in this one. The only drawback is the fact that it's a bullpen game for them. But Tyler Alexander, I think he's a good pitcher. Like Brian said, he's probably only going to go 1 inning, though. Someone in the comments said Nerfy. Yeah, I wouldn't argue with the Nerfy here. Surprisingly enough, the worry would be if Parker Messick gives up a run, not if Tyler Alexander does, to me. So to me, I think the wrong team's favored. But yeah, I would think an under might also be a way to go in this, whether it be first 5. Surprisingly, the Guardians' first 5 team total is 2.5, which seems really weird for one of the worst hitting teams in MLB. So that would be a way to go for me as well. Any of those.
Yeah, so I guess, I do have a 5% play tonight. I'll get that out of the way right now. I had a really good weekend. 4-1 if you go back to Friday, 3-0 the last 2 days, and I hit my 5%er over the weekend with the Angels. So I'm going with another big play tonight. You can get that as part of the double play package. So for me, this one is here's 2 things. One, I don't know that the Rangers should be the favorite here, but I certainly don't agree with the Guardians being $1.40 favorite. I think that's a little bit name bias to Messick. Because here's the thing, like whatever the Rangers decide to do is probably going to be serviceable. The Rangers have a very good bullpen. It's something it's been their redeeming quality for me all year is they don't necessarily have guys that like the Rangers and the Marlins are similar in the respect that they don't have these like big time leverage arms. That's like, okay, like you've got these 8th, 9th inning guys that are like a Mason Miller or Joan Duran or someone that's going to go shut it down at the end of the game. But what they do have is a pretty solid collection of relievers. They've really been in the top 10. If you were to rate out bullpens in Major League Baseball, all year the Rangers have been top 10 bullpen. I would say right now, with some of the other teams improving, that they're probably on the fringe of that top 10, but still, that's very good. If you're looking at just across the big leagues, the Rangers have a solid bullpen. Now, what I do like the Rangers bullpen for a little bit more than some others is a situation like this, where it's like, okay, it's probably a true bullpen game. They're going to probably have to piece together 9 innings and, go 2 innings here, 3 innings there. I don't mind. Listen, Quantrill's actually been pretty good in this role for them. Last time out, he threw 4 scoreless against the Jays. He had a good outing. The time before he was out against the Marlins was pretty good. Now, if I know I'm going to get like 5 innings of Cal Quantrill, do I really want to bet the Rangers? Probably not, but I don't know that they're going to push him that deep. So again, for me, it is entirely relative to the price point. At this price, I'd have to take the shot on the Rangers as a dog. But I do see reasons to like the Guardians. That price just priced me out. So, Brian, go ahead. Rangers, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I'm just going to say you mentioned Quantrill. Quantrill played for Cleveland just a couple years ago. So the ownership management knows all about Quantrill. I don't know if that's a good or bad. But getting back to what I was going to say was Cade Smith pitched the last 2 games. Hunter Gaddis has pitched 2 of the last 3. Sean Armstrong's pitched the last 2 days. So Cleveland's back of the bullpen isn't as strong now as it would have been yesterday or the day before. So it comes down to it. They may not have Smith to be able to close this out. 35 pitches the last 2 days. As for the starting pitcher for Cleveland in Messick, TB brought up some of his latest numbers. I watch just about every Cleveland game, and I think I haven't missed a Messick start. He had struggled his prior 2 or 3 starts before last time out, but his velocity picked up. So I don't know if he's going through a dead arm period or something, but even the announcer said, he's like 2 miles an hour faster on his pitches last time out, and he was better in that case. So we'll have to see. But yeah, it's an interesting game, and probably not the most exciting game to have on a national television broadcast. But hey, we've got the wind blowing out of some of the other places today. So if you like runs, there's other games to be interested in.
Yeah, like I said, I've said on the show many times, it is we allow the networks to choose the first game we talk about. That, of course, is on main ESPN tonight. So it's the game that ESPN is deciding to put on their main network for whatever reason. You're right. There's plenty of other, what I would consider better games. And let's get to some of those games. So I'm going to hop back in the chat. Mike S says, yeah, as a Cleveland fan, I hope you're right, Colin, but I can't lay juice with this team. That was my big takeaway for that one. I felt like I would be just laying too much to back that team. So, okay, let's see. The real ones know. Okay, well, this is an interesting one. Slick Vic says the real ones know Nationals plus 180 yesterday. Yeah, the Nats won as a dog in Baltimore yesterday. There was a point in time I thought I would be at that game, but my plans changed a little bit. I ended up down in Norfolk, Virginia yesterday afternoon at the AAA affiliate of the Orioles. First time at Harbor Park was pretty cool. Went and saw 3 new ballparks this weekend that I'd never been at. We had a great time in Richmond. Couple of shout out to Aaron Booth coming out. It was great to meet you. Got some guys out that watched the show to the game. My buddy Aaron Kidd was there, and we got to see CarMax Park in Richmond, brand new, phenomenal AA ballpark. And also shout out to Richmond for giving us the tickets for that. It was very nice of them. It was great. We had a great time. So and then I ended up in Norfolk yesterday watching the AAA affiliate of the Orioles against the Durham Bulls. The reason I even brought up the Orioles here and how I got off topic is because the Nationals were there this weekend. The Nationals, as Slick Vic said, got the win yesterday. And now, Bryan Leonard, the Nationals get to go up to Fenway Park and see if they can play spoiler, because the Red Sox out of left field had that terrible series in Denver. Everyone wrote them off. And what did they do over the weekend? They swept their rivals in the Yankees. But I don't know. That kind of screams a little bit of a letdown for me here. And they were up late last night battling out with the bullpens in a crazy game that went to extra innings, and the Red Sox were able to win. So Nats, Red Sox to you. Is this a letdown spot for the home team here?
Yeah, this is a different kind of Monday. We are getting 13 games going today, and some games I really like. In fact, Adam mentioned he's going to have a 5%. I will have a 5%. It's not up now. I'm going to wait until the line settle a little bit, and I don't want to give out a line that nobody can get. So I'll have that out within the next couple hours. Obviously, after we finish the show, it'll probably be up in the next hour. So, once again, we're doing very well. This was a game. Miles Mikolas is going for Washington in this one, but he's pitched pretty well as of late. They've used like an opener with him, and he seems to like that. Here, they're not listing as an opener. That does not mean they won't use an opener. So if you are going to play Washington in this game, you may want to do listed pitchers or maybe go against Suarez. Washington's hit very well against lefties this season. So it wouldn't surprise me. We saw that again over the weekend. A couple other teams at the last minute threw in or changed an opener. So keep that in mind. You may have to bet this again. But yeah, I think there's value here on Washington. You're looking at Suarez, the lefty. He's about a 168 favorite, 170 favorite, with a total of 8.5. We already know Washington hits lefties very well. They got a 117 WRC plus on the season against lefties compared to about 100 against righties. Boston, I had Boston last night. Thought I had a winner, 2-0. Great pitched game by Gray. And then all of a sudden, one swing of the bat, and here we go, going to overtime. And then the Yankees come up, score 2 runs in the top of the 10th. They think they got the game won. And Cruz just didn't have it. They had to go 2 innings with their closer yesterday for the Yankees. That put them in a tough position. Cruz didn't have it, and the Boston gets that exciting win. Not only do they win that game in extra innings, it was on national TV, and it was also a situation where they swept the Yankees, like you said, their hated rival. Everybody had written off Boston. So that was huge for them. And now they stay there. They don't have to travel at all, which is normally a very good concern when you got a Sunday night game, but they're going to still be at home. But Washington in this game, I think, has some value. I'm seeing some numbers out there right now as high as 160 on the dog in one place, but most of them are looking at anywhere from the mid 40s to 50. And if I'm playing this one, I am taking the dog. The way Washington hits against lefties, the way Washington hits against anybody. Yes, you're getting the lesser bullpen in Washington, but Boston had to use some key players in the bullpen last night. So, yeah, if I'm playing, I'm either playing the Washington team total over or maybe Washington first half, because you may, in fact, you probably, well, let me just take a quick look. First half right now, you can get Washington at plus, 130 to 145. So that's not much of a better deal. I think I would prefer them getting the 145 in the full game a little bit. So, Washington or nothing for me.
Tokyo Brandon, can you bet second 5? I'd love a second 5 over here, I think. Because once the tired Red Sox bullpen gets going against the atrocious Nationals bullpen who used their leverage guys the last couple of days, there could be some late fireworks in this game. I've never seen that bet. I don't think that's a bet. I think I just made that up, but it's
you can bet
interesting.
Live.
You can bet it live, of course. Yeah. TB, Red Sox Nats, how are you seeing it?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that kind of bet, but
I just made that up off the dome. So no, I
Yeah.
don't think
The Drake Sportsbook opening up near you.
This is definitely one of those cover the logo type games. Look, Washington's a better team than Boston by far. I have a lot more wins. I have Washington's bullpen ranked higher than Boston's right now. I got them ranked 19 and I got Boston's ranked 20. So, I think this is all about Mikolas versus Suarez. And yes, Suarez is a better pitcher. He's got really good numbers against these Washington batters as well. So that's kind of a red flag for me. But look, like Brian said, Mikolas has been pretty good pitcher. He tends to give up like a 5 and he tends to give up like a 6, but in between those, he's got like zeros. So he's kind of a weird pitcher to read, but he's obviously not that talented, but his whip is, what is his whip? 1-2-3 or something like that. It's not a bad 1-2-9. It's not a bad whip. The problem is he gets blown up. And when he gives up a couple, he just gets blasted. But most of the time it's a 0 or a 1 for him. His reputation precedes him, let's say. It would be Washington or nothing for me as well. I generally like Washington team totals over in the first 5, but today I probably wouldn't play that because Suarez has really good numbers against these batters. But I think Washington's by far the better team, much better than the Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox have history and stuff, but unless Manny Ramirez is batting for them today, I think I would take Washington. And get a double play, guys. 2 of us 3 days, huge discount. So go grab that at WagerTalk.com.
I think technically it would have to be a last 4. If you're going to have a first 5, it would have to be a last 4. And I'm over here thinking about books, trying to get that number up between the bottom of the 5th and top of the 6th. You'd have 90 seconds to bet that line. Ocho says, is that a Texas Tech polo? No, it's a Temple Owls polo. I got this at the Liacouras Center earlier this year when I was at Temple. As far as this game is concerned, I'm over here looking at my totals projections. I'm only at 8.6, which is just a shade over the 8.5 over. Kind of don't see how this game doesn't get over at some point. Now, I agree with both of you. The Nationals probably shouldn't be this big of an underdog. I still think the Nationals are the better of these two teams. Like you just because the Red Sox got up for their suddenly struggling rival. Because let's be honest, the Yankees not playing great ball right now. They weren't coming into that series. I know they had kind of taken a couple from the Tigers, but they haven't looked good the last week plus at this point. I'm not buying that the Red Sox have just become a better team than the Nationals because they had a good weekend. So, but the problem I have with the Nationals is trusting this team late on the road at Fenway after we saw what we saw last week. So go back to last week. They blow 3 games in the 9th inning against the Phillies. If you go back to last Monday, so the Nationals played every single day of last week, no off day. They needed their leverage bullpen arms on Monday to beat the Phillies. Then every single Nats bullpen arm got blown up for 3 straight days. Then the last 2 days, what did they need? They needed their guys to go out and close out a 4-3 win and a 6-4 win. So you talk about the Red Sox having some bullpen usage. I'd be very concerned if suddenly the Nats pen is involved, 5th inning on, and I'm on the road at Fenway, and now you've got a Red Sox team that just discovered that they can get a timely hit on occasion, as they did over the weekend. 8.5 feels low. I like the over in this one. Brian, sorry, go ahead.
I will point out that in your making it a final last 4 bet, I would love if a sportsbook came out with a total and said this is the last 4 innings, because I would just bet the over. Because if it goes to extra innings,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's probably
it just seems on. We have first half and second half in every other sport. Everyone loves first 5 in baseball. Why is there not a last foot? Why is there? They offer lines for some of the dumbest stuff I've ever seen. Like, why not
soccer? Every other sport has a time. Baseball doesn't have the time, so they can't do that. It could go
no, you'd have to do it. You'd have to do it before the game. That's the thing. You'd be placing the bet before the game. It would be off once the game starts. So you'd just be saying, it starts at the top of the 6th and goes to whatever. But you're right, Brian. Probably some built-in value if you think it's going to be a close game. Tokyo Brandon, I'm coming back to you to kick this one off. Mark Lambert, he says Giants play of the day. So we're going to go out west. This is going to be Giants D-backs. Giants, his play of the day, 1-4 of their last 5. Arizona lifeless on a 3-game skid, and coming all the way back from South Florida. They were in Tampa over the weekend, so they got some travel ahead of them to come back and host this game in the desert tonight. Mark says pitching regression matchup of the day. Malley expected ERA is 4.35, and Erod is 4.82. So this is Giants Diamondbacks to you out west tonight. How are you seeing this one?
Yeah, this is a game I'm probably going to avoid because the Diamondbacks are a weird team because they have a good record, but they're not playing well. But they have a good record, so kind of confusing how this record, you look at them and you're like, how did they compile this record? Looking at Molly against these Diamondbacks in his history, his stats are average, so I don't really glean anything off of that. Rodriguez against the Giants, so I got the pitchers pretty evenly ranked here. I actually have Molly ranked about 4 points higher than Rodriguez. If you look past the surface numbers and if you check the expected numbers, I think Molly's been a little unlucky, and he's looked pretty good lately, in my opinion. So I give a small check for San Francisco in starting pitcher and a big check for better bullpen. But the hitting, San Francisco is one of the worst hitting teams in the league, and the Diamondbacks are mediocre. So I got Diamondbacks about 8 points higher than San Francisco in hitting. So everything's kind of conflicting and going against each other on this one for me. I like San Francisco's pitching a lot better than the Diamondbacks, and I like the Diamondbacks hitting better. So kind of a quagmire for me, so I'll stay off it.
Brian, I'll tell you one of the ways that the Diamondbacks have been able to sort of get the record that they've been able to get to this year, which is now 41-42. It was a winning record for most of the season up until the weekend. There's 2 things, and they're actually both in play here. One, they've been very good against bad teams. They've cleaned up against sub 500 teams. Against teams over 500 this year, the Diamondbacks just 14-29. So that basically flipped the record around for when they play a sub 500 team. The other, they play well at home, 24-17 at home this year. The Giants, say what you want about them, they still qualify as a bad baseball team, 35-48. But I'm not totally disagreeing with Mark. I do kind of see, I guess I see some slight value in the Giants. I don't know. Tricky game, Giants D-backs to you.
Yeah, I still have Arizona slightly better team than San Francisco. Molly against Rodriguez. Rodriguez the lefty. We're looking at basically a 135 for Arizona with a total of 9. I kind of prefer Arizona in this one. I understand the traveling situation, but San Francisco is pretty banged up right now. They just put their better hitting catcher Susek on the IL. Harrison Bader's on the IL. He'll be coming back soon. The bullpen situation is in good shape for San Francisco. They only had to use Killian yesterday, 2 pitchers the day before, 3 the day before that. So the bullpen is in good shape there. Tyler Mahle, he's pitching well lately. On the season, he's ranked 159th. Lately, it's 27th the last 14 days, so he is pitching better. But when you take a look at that offense, Casey Schmidt got hurt yesterday. He's been their best player pretty much the entire season. Came out of nowhere. If he's not in the lineup today, that's going to be a concern. They also had Elliot Ramos just came back from the IL. He DH'd yesterday. Eventually, that'll be good. But you're also getting a guy who hasn't played in the major leagues in a while, and we see this all the time when guys come back from the IL. It takes them a while to get going. So there's some concerns here for San Francisco, and Adames is dealing with back pains, and he, along with Devers and Chapman, are your veterans that came into the season that you were looking to back, and really none of them have had that great of a season. Chapman's played a lot better in the last month, but Devers is the only guy that's doing decently well. He still ranks 68th on the season for hitters, so it's not great. It's not what we would expect out of him. So I still have some concerns about that. And from an Arizona standpoint, when you look at Rodriguez, and I've said this before, he is dynamite against losing teams. He's had a terrific record in that regard in his career. He's also been very good at home. So you have to take those into account. And his home road dichotomy is very strong. So if you're looking to play him, you definitely want to play him at home as opposed to the road. The bullpen for Arizona, pretty good shape as well. Over the last 4 days, they've got nobody that's thrown more than 1 day. So the bullpens are going to be key here. I think the second half of this game is going to be lower scoring, which would probably get me somewhat interested in the under here, under 9, because I think Mahle is a guy who I think will pitch a little bit better than what his record shows. Rodriguez, yes, his advanced stats say is not as good, but those have been going on for a while now. This is a veteran. We talked about this early in the season. Looked great in the tournament for the year, and he's having a really nice season. If it's a young guy that has those kind of numbers, you have to take it with a grain of salt. And he's a veteran. He's been around a real long time. Maybe he just knows how to pitch. And it's not, the luck isn't is pronounced in his pitching. Maybe he's got a little skill involved in that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. The one thing that comes to mind is the Giants are much better against right-handed pitching. So here they're going to go against the lefty. I don't love that. Mahle was good in his first start back, or I'm sorry. Yeah, his first start back, but in his rehab starts, he had a little bit of command issues. I don't love that either. Believe I played against him, and it was part of that game where the Braves got walked off after they did get a lead. I have to go back and double check that. What I do know, so first of all, I got to get this in. AB Covers says it was great meeting you, Trig. WagerTalk is a great company and proud to be a member of the WagerTalk family. I need that comment to go directly to Johnny Detroit. So I needed to pull that up. But no, it was great meeting you. We had a great time. And the reason I wanted to throw that in here is because we saw Richmond, which is the AA affiliate of the Giants, who now we didn't see these guys, but that team at AA this year is like 20 games over 500. The reason for that is they had some studs at the AA level who are now at the AAA level, who are actually now, in the case of Drew Kavanaugh, so you brought up the Giants catcher position, they might have upgraded at the catcher position because Drew, at least offensively, Drew Kavanaugh's got a 999 OPS at all levels this season. He was crushing the ball at AA. He played well for Sacramento. He just got called up over the weekend, and I believe he's now played 2 games for the Giants, so you got to think that he might be in the lineup. I don't have any issue with him over, who the Giants, whoever the Giants had catching previous. So it's a lot of stuff going on for me in this one. I don't really want to lay that number with the Diamondbacks, but at the same time, these are just the games that they win. They've been winning this type of game all season. Makes it a challenging handicap. I will likely be out of this one. Brian, I'm coming back to you. We've got Alex Randolph 460. Jesus, I cannot read numbers right now. Alex Randolph 6405. Thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. All the donations go to charity on this show. And he wants to talk Pirates over the Phillies today. I'm going to go to you. Pirates, Phillies, Citizens Bank Park. How are you seeing this one?
All right. This is one of the games I talked about earlier about some weather concerns. Or this one, Citizens Bank Park, it's the wind's blowing out a little bit, and but the ones that you're concerned about for scoring, obviously Coors Field. It's going to be really hot in Coors Field today, and the wind's going to be pretty heavy. It's not directly out to the left or to center field, going more left to right. But anytime you get heat in Colorado, and we've seen this before, you want to, if you can, play the over. Take a look at that. Sooner Health Park, once again, blowing straight out, and it's pretty healthy wind in that one. And Wrigley Field is blowing straight out today with a pretty good wind. So those are the games that you can look for some runs to be scored in that one. Overall, though, this is one of the games I'm taking a look at here is you've got Pittsburgh, and let me get to the line before I get to that. Pittsburgh's got Ashcraft on the mound against Nola. Basically a pick'em price in this one, and we're looking at basically a pick'em with an 8.5 on the total. Overall, this has been a pretty good hitter's ballpark in the past. Not quite so much this year. I think it has a lot to do with a lot of these veteran players for the Phillies just not having great years. But Ashcraft is a guy, and I've mentioned this before, great pitcher, and the Pirates really seem to hit for him. And we're looking at a total of 8.5 here. I'm going to look at the over in this one. I don't trust Nola. Nola will come out with a good start once in a while, but overall, he's not a guy that I'm looking to back. I think Pittsburgh is hitting really well right now. They got, the rookie back a couple games ago, and I think Pittsburgh can get to him. But I also think Philadelphia can score some runs against Ashcraft here. So I'm really surprised this game is sitting at 8.5. If you took out the Ashcraft name, this line should be 9, right? But people don't realize that the team hits really well with Ashcraft. I don't know what the reasoning of that is. Probably because they get done with Skeens and they never seem to hit for Skeens, but then they get it back when Ashcraft's on the mound. But I think he's 14-2 to the over in his starts. So you always have to take a look at that. Sometimes there's reasons for these things happening. Yes, it could be random, but still, if they're going out there and Ashcraft knows that they're going to hit for him, maybe he's not as precise on his pitches as he could be. Maybe he tries to challenge somebody, which he normally wouldn't do. So, yeah, I kind of like the over here. I want to fade Nola, and the way it's going with the way Pittsburgh's been hitting, the line doesn't give me enough effort to play just Pittsburgh, but I think the total can get there at 8.5.
The chat is discussed. Someone's like, Trig, you have the dream job. Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, this is the dream job. Someone's like, Trig must have that old money. No, I don't actually. The only way I make money is 2 ways. 1, betting games. 2, the picks that we sell on this site. I just have a spending problem. Just very irresponsible. I go, but AB Covers can attest. I showed big time restraint in the Squirrel's Nest team store on Saturday because there was like 5 things I wanted and I got none of them. So I really had to reel it in for but I've made rules for myself during baseball because I know I'm going to spend at the college campuses and I'm going to get the college gear. I do have a great Norfolk Tides hat in the other room though. I did get that, but that's no, I just make it, spend it. That's my problem. So, again, if I come to your town, hit me up. Like I'll get you out to the game. That's I love meeting you guys again. We had a great time. Tokyo Brandon, I'll come to you for this game. Pirates, Phillies. That is a weird sort of like thing because you would think Braxton Ashcraft, he's got great numbers. He's been outstanding all year with the exception of a couple of starts. And yet all of his starts go over. How does that happen? But like Brian said, the last time Ashcraft pitched against the Phillies earlier this year, he pitched great. You know what the final score of that game was? It was 11-9 Philadelphia. It went off the rails and it went into extra innings. Maybe there's something to it. I don't disagree that there might be some runs here. But how are you seeing Pirates and Phillies?
Guys, WagerTalk has tons of deals right now. One is double play. You can get 2 of us 3 for 3 days. Huge discount. If you only like 1 capper, you can get 1 capper 6 days for the price of 3. Go to wagertalk.com and get some of those deals because we are 3 of the best baseball minds on the planet. Hands down. Let's go to this game. Ashcraft has been pitching great. And I was actually, Brian stole my thunder there. I was going to mention how odd it is that the Pirates always score when Ashcraft is pitching, but they never score when Skeens is pitching. Skeens is 6-7. Ashcraft is like what 7-2 or something like that. But they're both pitching just as well. So it's very strange, which also tells you that real baseball bettors don't really look at records of pitchers. They look at a little bit deeper numbers. So how do we approach this one? Well, both of these teams have really good bullpens, at least in current form. I got the Phillies ranked 5 and I got the Pirates ranked 6. So, yeah. Ashcraft's been pitching well. Nola's been not pitching well. Nola's numbers are like Merrill Kelly like numbers. He's starting to look washed. I'm not going to say he's washed though. Not quite as bad as Merrill Kelly, but hitting wise, I got Philadelphia ranked number 2 in MLB in current form, and I got the Pirates ranked 6. So yeah, I wouldn't argue with an over, but I would think more. Yeah, I think Pirates first 5 would be a good play, or I also think maybe take a flyer on Ashcraft to record a win. You're probably going to get it for like plus 140 or plus 120 or something. I think that might be a good way to go as well, because although Philadelphia is overall put together as a better team, Nola has just looked really bad, and the head-to-head stats don't really show me either way. I think Philly can maybe get a couple runs off Ashcraft here, but yeah, probably an over would be the way I would go, or an Ashcraft to get the win for big plus money. Those are 2 ways I would think about going here.
I'm kind of agreeing with both of you. I actually think so. I was pulling up my score projections real quick. I'm at 8.9 on the total. So at 8.5, I definitely see a little bit of value on the over. Also, the Phillies have some bullpen usage from the weekend, so they could give up some runs late. TV, I think because of that and the fact that Ashcraft's pretty much always going to give you 6 innings. Like he typically is going to pitch deeper into games. He should be in position to qualify for a win if I think that's an interesting take and one that I agree with as well. George, I didn't even know I was going to be in Norfolk. That was a total game time decision. The only reason I went to Norfolk is because they got rained out the night prior, and because they made it a doubleheader. The first game started at like noon. So I was like, oh, I can, I was going to try to find something on my way back north. And then when the game was at noon, I was like, I can get over there and still get home at a reasonable hour. So yeah, it was totally unplanned. I fly by the seat of my pants a lot of times with these. Philip, 3 people at the Richmond game told me I have to go to Chattanooga. Now, I guess the new ballpark there is fantastic. And that's one place, Brian, Chattanooga Lookouts. I will come home with a hat or something from there. An all-time great minor league baseball logo, the Chattanooga Lookouts. Yeah, I will be on the West Coast at some point this summer, probably when I end up in Vegas, probably August. So, yeah, I'm going to get some of those West Coast venues done as well. Brian, I'm going to come back to you. The people want to start locking in picks. So what are you looking at for your parlay leg here?
I think I'm going to play this one over. You had mentioned the bullpen situation for Philadelphia. Yesterday, Duran 20 pitches, Kerkering 27 pitches, Alvarado 24 pitches, Shugart 20 pitches. Duran's pitched 2 of the last 3 days, Kerkering 2 of the last 3 days, and those are their hottest pitchers right now. They're pitching very well. Yeah, I'm going to play this over as my my best bet on the show today. It's over 8.5, and you can get it either minus 105 or minus 110. Let's go to minus 110. And this is a game that I expect to go off at 9. So if we get it right now at 8.5, obviously you can avoid the push on the 9. Yeah, let's use that as my. There's a lot of games today I like, even though it's 13 games on a Monday is a great card. I'm excited about today's card, not only with the 5%, but I'm really liking today's card. So let's play that over the 8.5 minus 110 is my play on the show today.
All right, over 8.5 minus 110 for the parlay. Tokyo, Brandon, what game are you looking at for your parlay leg here?
So I am going to go to that monkey ballpark up in the Rocky Mountains, looking at Miami versus Colorado. I'm going to take Miami here. I think this line is ridiculous for a much better team. Everyone says Colorado is dangerous at home. Really? Have you looked at their home record? They're 18-22. I don't think that's dangerous. I like Miami's 44-40 record, although their road record is not good. They're facing a pitcher in Coors Field with an 8+ ERA while they got Sandy Alcantara on the mound. Sandy Alcantara pitched in this park in April. I think he gave up 3 earned in 5 innings, something like that. Don't quote me, but he had a decent start, a lot more decent start than I think Sullivan's going to have. And he has decent numbers against these batters. So give me a quality starter and a quality team. Miami is not one of those teams that jumps out on the page at you with statistics and things like that, but they're very well put together. Overall, I think they have the 9th ranked bullpen compared to the 22nd ranked bullpen. So yeah, runs are going to be scored, but in the end, I think the team that hits better, catches better, and throws better is going to win a baseball game. So give me the Miami. And I think minus 30 is ridiculous. They should be minus 180 in my opinion.
I'll go first, and then I'll kick this over to Brian, because I have some mixed sort of feelings about this game, but I agree with some of what you said, and I disagree with some of what you said. So I'm going to give my counter, and then we'll let Brian break the tie a little bit here. One thing I definitely agree with, I thought the Marlins were going to be favored by a little bit more. So that I agree with you. I think minus 130, minus 135 is definitely like a fair price here for the Marlins. I thought they would have been a little bit bigger favorites because they've been playing great ball. And you know how I feel about this Marlins team. I love this Marlins team. I got the Marlins futures. I really hope they go to Coors and have a really good series here, because that would be, can't drop games. You want to make the playoffs, which is we're still, and hopefully some of the chat is with me, sitting on plus 980 for the Marlins to make the playoffs. You got to win these games against the teams like the Rockies. Where I'm concerned here, and I guess I'll make more of a case for the over than just fading the Marlins. Couple things. So one, Sandy pitches to contact. He doesn't strike many guys out. He's a big time contact pitcher. Don't know if I love that at Coors. And two, for me, I still think Sean Sullivan is probably a little bit better than his very small sample at the big league level, which includes that one game at Wrigley where he got blown up. The other 2 games that were pretty solid. Bryan Leonard, you were at the first one where he left the game with illness. He looked great. He just had to come out of the game sick. And then last time out against the Red Sox, he looked really good. So a trip to Wrigley with the wind blowing out is the reason that his numbers are bad. Former second-round pick, a lefty. I don't know. But that being said, if the Marlins are going to score, this one's probably going way over 10.5 or 11 where it is. Rockies plus 1.5. I would have taken it at like minus 110. At minus 130, there's no appeal there for me. So I'm just going to sit back, root for my future, root for Tokyo Brandon. But that 18-22 with the Rockies at home, where they're priced, that's actually pretty good. They're almost an underdog in every one of those games. So very interesting game here.
Yeah. If TV makes it 180, I want to bet into the TB sportsbook. I'll root for you in the game, but I've never had any games that are that far off, 40 cents off. Alcantara is about a 140 favorite here. Total is 11.5. And as I said, the wind is going to be a concern here. Sullivan, you hit on it. He's pitching some tough environments, and I still think he's a halfway decent pitcher. That said, if I'm playing this one, I'm probably playing the over. You mentioned Alcantara is more of a pitch to hit guy. He doesn't strike a ton of guys out. And when you take a look at what's going on in this game, it's interesting because if you take a look at the standings, and I understand, well, TB says that Colorado's only 18-22 at home, 4 games under 500. On the road, they're 14 games under 500. So, yes, there's still that home advantage. But if you take a look at the actual hitting numbers for Colorado this year, strangely, they're hitting better on the road than they have at home this year, which to me, in forecasting, you have to look at what's happened in the past, but you want to forecast what's going to happen in the future. These are a lot of young guys that are starting to come into their own. Usually teams start off, they hit better at home, and they're lousy on the road. Well, this year, the Rockies are showing me that on the road, they're not that Rocky Road automatic fade all the time. They're hitting better. Now, the pitching has not been that great on the road. But if you take a look at what they've done against teams that are over 500 on the year, they haven't played them well. They're 12-32. And right now, Miami's 4 games over 500. So Miami's probably the right side in this game. I just can't get there at this price. I prefer the over in this game.
It's a great price, I think. I mean, do you think the Rockies are better than the Marlins? I don't.
No.
Do you think Sullivan's better than Alcantara? I don't.
Look,
how about the Rockies bullpen? Are they better than Miami's? I don't think so.
You're going to lay 140 on the road with a team who's 16-23 on the road this season.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't think. I mean, I didn't think the price was crazy. I think the right price is fair. Like, I don't think this is like just a terrible number to bet the Marlins at.
Yeah, it's not a terrible number, but 180 I think is.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely all over Colorado if it was 180 here. So, but
yeah,
I'm rooting for you. I don't have anything on the side, and like I said, Colorado's 12-32 against teams with winning records. So I'm not saying you're not on the right side. I'm saying the price doesn't get me there.
Yeah, and this is here's the thing. Sean Sullivan is pretty good. Like even if he's not, here's what I hope happens. I hope the Marlins get to him here because I'll try to bet Sullivan in the next start if it's in a more. I haven't decided if he can definitely pitch at altitude yet. So here's another great minor league quirk. The Colorado Rockies AA team where he spent a lot of time is in Hartford, Connecticut. Then you go to Albuquerque and pitch in altitude in Albuquerque. And then obviously that prepares you to pitch at Coors Field. He dropped off a tiny bit AA to AAA. I think, and we've seen this happen to guys. Mm-hmm. Carson Palmquist pitched his way out of the organization because of this, right? Was phenomenal at AA, struggles in the altitude at AAA, struggles at Denver. Now he's with the Nationals. He's not even with the team anymore. He's in the Nationals organization. So that's something I'm watching for, but I wouldn't sleep on Sean Sullivan. Former second rounder out of Wake Forest. I think he's going to be decent, and it'll be interesting to watch here. But tonight, TB and I will. Decent. Yeah, he's not bad. I mean, you just got to hope that he's not getting squared up because he does give up a lot of contact.
You're right.
Dude, I'm sitting on 980. True. I'm sitting on Marlins plus 980 to make the playoffs. TV. I will be right there rooting with you for the Marlins tonight. I would love them to win.
I have a future on the Marlins to win 72 games, and they're well more than halfway there, so I like it.
All right, let's go. All right, the chat wants to talk Mets Blue Jays. I have not decided. I'm probably going to use something we've already talked about, so we can get one more game in here. Brian, I'm coming back to you. The Mets fire their manager. Didn't maybe get the results that they hoped for this weekend, but the point is they were right there in every game with the Phillies. They could have won all 3. They end up losing 2 of those by a run. Encouraging stuff, in my opinion, for the Mets over the weekend. That being said, they face a Blue Jays team that maybe should have played, but maybe bounces back from not playing as well. This was a very tricky handicap for me. So talk to me, Mets Blue Jays.
Manaea going the lefty, going for the Mets. He's pitched pretty well lately. Yusavage, yes, 125 favorite with a total of 8.5 to the over or 9 to the under. 8.75. There goes my Steve Fezzik reference. I like Toronto here. the Mets, when they made the coaching change, I said, I want to see them do it for a bit. And they won that game. And then, of course, they lose the next game. So I don't know. I fully understand the Dave Koken deal, playing the team with the new manager. But that guy should have been gone months ago. They kept him too long. And now the Mets are in really bad shape on trying to make the playoffs this year. You got a lot of veterans on this team. Yeah, I expect them to play much better with after the management change. But I would rather have that on a young team than a team that had high expectations with a lot of veterans on it. So I prefer the Toronto side here. Savage, to me, is a guy on the up. He's much harder to hit than Manaea. Manea's crafty. He's a crafty lefty. He does get some strikeouts. But Toronto, the way they played the last couple of games, and you got to think this is this has got to be a must-win situation here for Toronto at home against Interleague. Yes, the National League's been better than the American League in Interleague action, no doubt about it. But you've got a team from the American League East playing a team from the National League East. And the American League East teams playing at home, that's the best division in baseball. I don't care what year it is. The last 5 years, I would say, at least the American League East is the best team. So you're getting a team, and we saw it at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, and that, they're very good. And all these teams, Boston, all these teams are good at home in this division. You've got to be. And you got the best pitcher, their best pitcher on the mound against Manaea. I like Toronto, and you're laying 125 here. So yeah, that's one of the games I'm interested in.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around how this team has lost 6 straight games at home to the Rangers and the Astros. I came up here. Gotta be fair. I came out last breakdown, said I was all hyped up about my Marlins take plus 980 to make the playoffs. Tokyo Brandon. Last week I said, hey, this is the time to buy in with the Blue Jays. No, that was probably not the right. They won 1 game after I said that, and they've proceeded to lose 6 games in a row at home, which is there was some, I don't know. They looked off against the Rangers all weekend. Do they flip it now that there's a new team, a new face in town tonight against the Mets?
So
if we lose TB, is Tokyo Brandon still? Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm here.
My internet must have blinked. Sorry, TB. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. 2 of the crappiest teams in Major League Baseball. Whoopee. If you're watching this game, you must be a fan because these teams are bad. Cover the logos. I'd rather watch the Royals play than these 2 teams. But wow. Yeah, Savage has been a little bit, mediocre compared to his breakout year last year. But still a decent pitcher. Manaea, like Brian said, he's looked pretty good. But I'm full agreement with Brian here. I think the Blue Jays are the less crappy of the 2 teams. Manaea, I do like his walk ratio because he's not walking many guys compared to how many he's striking out. And Savage's his command is not good this season, although his surface stats are pretty good. I have these 2 pitchers pretty equal as far as rankings are concerned. I got the Mets with the better bullpen and the Blue Jays with the decisively better hitting. So I think Blue Jays first 5 would probably be the way to approach this one if I were to bet it, but I would rather watch paint dry than to watch these 2 horrible teams play each other.
I gotta push back on that. The Blue Jays are not a bad team. I know they haven't played great the last week. There's still a team that's pretty solid in my opinion. That is only going to get better going forward. You talked about Blue Jays hitting. They called up Sean Keys, like I said that I hoped they would last week. He was crushing the ball at AAA. He finally, I believe, he made his major league debut over the weekend. He'll be a name I look for in the lineup, but I don't know. I mean, if we're talking about the context of Major League Baseball. I get that they've underachieved. I don't think these are either just bad teams. The Rockies are a bad team. The Angels are a bad team. Then some of those teams. These 2 teams are probably. I still think the Blue Jays are going to be in the mix. Brian, I'm with you. I'm going to go to different direction for the parlay. I think the Blue Jays probably win this game. I hope if the Mets take some money throughout the day, I may hop on it. If it can get down to like minus 110, minus 115. I mean, Savage is so much better than what the Mets are going to throw out there tonight. I'm with you, Brian. I like the Blue Jays, but what I'm going to use for the parlay is that Nats Red Sox over. Can you tell me what the juice is on 8.5?
We're looking at 8.5 minus 110 across the board.
All right. So real quick before we get out of here, double play package. Brian and I both have 5% plays today. So you can take advantage of that. Tokyo Brandon's got stuff up on the website as well, and he wins on pretty much a daily basis. So never a bad idea to throw him in the mix. We've got great specials, and it is June 29th. So all of those June monthly specials are only up for another day and a half. Check those out on our site. The parlay today is as follows. We need runs. We're going to need runs to hit this one because Bryan Leonard's going with Pirates, Phillies over 8.5, minus 110. I'm going to go with Nationals, Red Sox over 8.5, minus 110. And I predict that TB is going to need some runs to win his leg as well on the Marlins, for sure. Minus 135 in Coors Field. So we've got Pirates, Phillies over 8.5. Nats, Red Sox over 8.5. Marlins minus 135. That is today's parlay. That is today's show. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. And the three of us will be back at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for more Total Bases. We'll see you guys then.